Welcome to the session on cinematography. 5 C's of cinematography. Cinematography is the art of visual storytelling. Anyone can set a camera on a tripod and hit record. But the artistry of cinematography comes into controlling what the viewer sees or does not see, and how the image is presented. Film is a visual medium, and the films are ones where you can tell what's going on without hearing any of the dialogue. With some basic knowledge of composition and scene construction, you can plan scenes using this visual language. Learn how different shots work together to form a clear, cohesive narrative, and how to compose each shot in a way that is visually pleasing for the viewer. Understanding these simple rules will help make your films more thrilling and engaging. There are some simple cinematography techniques that will have a great impact in making your videos look more professional. The 5 C's of cinematography. The 5 C's of cinematography are outlined by Joseph V. Mascali in his book, The 5 C's of Cinematography, Motion Picture Filming Techniques. The 5 C's represent important fundamental concepts and techniques of filmmaking and are essential areas of study for aspiring filmmakers. They are camera angles, continuity, cutting, close-ups, and composition. Camera angles. Whereas shot sizes direct who and what we see, camera angles affect how we perceive it. Is a character going to appear dominant and tall, or short and weak? A strong weapon in the cinematographer's arsenal is the ability to position the camera in relation to the subject or scenery. Camera angle refers to the angle at which a camera is positioned when filming. High angle shots look down on a subject. Low angle shots aim up at a subject to make the subject appear big and dominant in the screen. Wide shots are used to capture a subject's surroundings and often are used when establishing a scene. The various angles are chosen to help explore a film's narrative development. Eye level angle. An eye level angle is the one in which the camera is placed at the subject's height. So, if the actor is looking at the lens, he wouldn't have to look up or down. Eye level shots are incredibly common because they are neutral. They often have no dramatic power whatsoever. Thus, they are ideal for romantic comedies and newscasting. Low angle. Low angles are captured from a camera placed below the actor's eyes, looking up at them. Low angles make characters look dominant, aggressive, or ominous. To film this shot, the camera is placed lower than the person or object to be filmed. A low angle is used when you want to depict the power or importance of an individual or object. High angle. In order to shoot a high angle, the camera must be placed above the actors or objects, looking down. This angle is used to make the actors or objects appear more insignificant, small, or weak, depending on how extreme the angle is. In a high angle, the camera is above the subject, looking down. The position makes characters look weak, submissive, or frightened. Dutch tilt. Also called canted angle, a Dutch tilt has the camera leaning sideways, transforming the horizon into a slope. A Dutch tilt changes horizontal and vertical lines into diagonals and creates a more dynamic composition. Though rare, canted angles can be employed with great artistic effect to disorient and disturb the viewer. In order to film a Dutch angle, the camera has to be tilted to the right or left. A Dutch angle is used to signify suspense or to foreshadow that something unexpected is about to happen. Point of view. As the name suggests, point of view shots are angles in which the camera incorporates a character's eyes. Point of views are usually preceded by a close-up of the character's eyes. Needless to say, cinematographers will choose different angles for different scenes within the same movie depending on the scene, goal, or purpose. When analyzing the camera angles used in a movie, it is wise to note how different angles are used in each scene. Sometimes different angles will be chosen to emphasize different elements in the screen. For example, if an airplane flying overhead is of importance to the story, then filmmakers may choose to use a low angle shot to show the sky and the plane. Continuity. The main goal of a cinematographer is to present the scenes he films in such a manner that they convey a complete idea to the viewer. To accomplish this requires considerable thought and planning. Individual scenes, each presenting an idea or part of the idea, must be arranged in logical sequence. Related scenes should flow one into another so that there will be no gap in continuity. Unrelated scenes must be joined into the film with smooth transitions so that they are accepted by the viewer as part of the story continuity. Continuity is consistency of the film's static and dynamic elements. A film must flow naturally to make sense to a viewer, and shots are recorded avoiding inconsistencies in characters, plot, or subject matter. Continuity means that clothing, sets, and objects are not suddenly altered between shots in the same scene. It also means that characters sustain consistent personalities and that objects do not suddenly change, appear, or disappear. Continuity is the complex craft of making the hundreds or even thousands of small parts of a program seem like a single continuous whole. In big studio productions, perfect continuity is so important that crew always include a script supervisor to oversee it. Continuity is the characteristic of a scene whereby the action seems fluid and continuous, even though it is composed of a number of shots. There are many ways that continuity can be broken, which can be noticeable and therefore distracting to an audience. For example, a character might move to a chair and sit down in a long shot, and then we cut to a close-up and see the end of the character's sitting movement. Depending on how these two shots are edited, it will either look like a continuous motion, which means good continuity, or you might see repeated action or a gap in action, which means poor continuity. There are 5 types of continuity. They are information, action, look, movement, and convention. Cutting. Cutting is how shots are organized in sequence. It's important to create a series of shots that flow naturally into each other. This means viewers are unlikely to follow or be affected by a film when its shots do not follow naturally. One example of a cutting technique is cross-cutting. This is when a camera moves from one scene of action to another to show 2 events taking place simultaneously. Cutting on action is another technique where one shot finishes on an action that leads to the next shot. Cutting is another word for editing, which means assembling the film from all of the raw footages shot during production. Aside from assembling shots into scenes, editing also includes significant audio work, including redubbing dialogues when required, adding music, and adding sound effects. When choosing the type of cut to use at any given time, your decision will depend on 4 things: genre, length, style, and pacing. If your goal is to master the art of editing, you are going to need to know the essential cuts to use when editing a film or video.